The briefcase hits the floor. Darius Blackwell does not drop things. Not in 20 years of high-stakes boardrooms. Not through a single billion-dollar negotiation. But his fingers go completely slack the moment the sound reaches him, one sentence, from a 4-year-old girl, spoken at the dinner table in a voice so soft and certain it lands somewhere deep and permanent. Mommy didn't love us like Miss Simone does. He stands motionless in the shadow of his own hallway. Chest locked. Jaw tight. The twins, Zoe and Amara, sit at the wooden dining table in their matching green overalls, one with a red flower clip, one with a yellow, leaning happily over their pizza plates like the world is warm and uncomplicated. The nanny, Simone Carter, stands between them in her crisp blue and white uniform, smiling the way a woman smiles when she already feels like she belongs somewhere. She cuts crust into careful triangles. She wipes a cheek without being asked. She tucks a strand of hair behind Amara's ear with the ease of a woman who has been doing it her whole life. The room looks completely peaceful. Hello friends, welcome to our channel, tell us where you are watching from. I believe some of you are tuning in from US, UK, or maybe Canada, Jamaica, or South Africa. Before we go any further, has someone ever slowly replaced something precious inside your home, and you were the very last person to notice? Drop your answer in the comments right now. And once again, tell us where in the world you are watching from. Let's continue. Darius did not come through the front door tonight. He entered through the service entrance on the east side of the estate, alone, 2 full hours ahead of the schedule his entire staff still believes he is keeping in Zurich. He did not fake a business trip because he was suspicious without reason. He faked it because 3 days ago, Claudette, the woman who has run this house for 9 years, said something over tea that he has not been able to shake since. Now he watches Zoe reach across the table toward her late mother's pale blue scarf draped over the chair by the window, the scarf Darius has never had the heart to move, and then stop. Pull her small hand back. Turn and look at Simone. And ask for permission to touch it. He does not walk into that room. That alone tells you everything about Darius Blackwell. A different man storms in. Makes noise. Demands answers on the spot. Darius presses his back flat against the hallway wall and breathes, slow and measured, the way a man breathes when he knows the right move costs more than the easy one. He built Blackwell Capital at 23 years old with 1 client, 1 conference room, and no safety net. 41 now. 3 private equity firms. 11 international offices. A name that creates silence in any room it enters. The kind of man magazines call disciplined and visionary without quite understanding that discipline, for Darius, has always been a wall, and grief is what he first built it to hold back. 3 years ago, there was a hospital corridor. A styrofoam coffee cup, cold because he forgot to drink it. A doctor using words that did not process for several seconds because the human brain will sometimes delay pain until the body is ready. Imani Blackwell. 34 years old. Gone before sunset. The girls were 14 months old. Darius came home from that hospital and did the only thing he knew how to do. He built a system. Schedules. Staff. Specialists. He hired the best child psychologist in Massachusetts. He put the twins in the hands of rotating caregivers trained to handle early life loss. He told himself that stability and love were the same thing. He repeated it until he believed it. And somewhere inside that belief, he stopped sitting at breakfast. Stopped coming home before bedtime. Stopped staying long enough in any room that still carried Imani's shape. He left a vacancy. And 7 weeks ago, Simone Carter walked in and began quietly filling it. Simone Carter arrives on a Tuesday in April with 2 suitcases and a resume that reads like a gold standard. 3 prior families. Each wealthier than the last. Child development certifications from 2 accredited universities. A letter of recommendation from a child psychologist in Greenwich that uses the word exceptional 4 times in 3 paragraphs. She shakes Claudette's hand. She crouches down to meet Zoe and Amara at eye level. She compliments the kitchen like someone who already plans to spend time in it. Within a week, both girls slept through the night for the first time in 4 months. Within 2 weeks, the tantrums stop completely. The chef mentions it to the driver. The driver mentions it to the house manager. Everyone agrees, Simone Carter is exactly what this household needed. Darius, reading a brief update from Singapore, types back one word, good. Then boards another plane. What no one reports, because no one has a name for it yet, is the other thing. It begins small enough to miss entirely. When Amara cries one night and reaches out for mommy, Simone strokes her back and says softly, like a lullaby, some people are meant to leave early, baby. When Zoe points to the framed photo on the hallway shelf the following Sunday morning, the frame is face down before bedtime. When the twins ask why nobody sings before sleep anymore, because Imani always sang, Simone tilts her head just slightly and says, maybe you only remember wishing she did. Not once does she raise her voice. Not once does she say anything that sounds, on its surface, like cruelty. Just steady. Patient. Quiet replacement. The kind of damage that does not look like damage until a father stands frozen in a hallway and hears his daughter rank her dead mother below a woman she has known for 7 weeks. Claudette does not knock. She stands in the open doorway of the study, tray in hand, 2 cups, no particular expression, and waits until Darius looks up from his screen. 9 years in this house. She has outlasted 2 chief of staff changes, a full roof renovation, and the hardest year a household can have. She does not waste entrances. She sets the tea down. Takes the chair across from him. And begins. Mr. Blackwell. The girls are thriving on the outside. I am not certain that means the same thing underneath. Darius sets his pen down. Claudette does not accuse. She is far too careful for that. She describes instead. Small things. The kind only someone permanently present would catch. She tells him that last Sunday, Zoe asked her permission to take her mother's photo album from the shelf, as if the album now had a gatekeeper who was not Claudette and was not Darius. That Amara has stopped saying mommy in ordinary conversation. Not with sadness. With a blankness that does not belong on any child's face. That Simone always appears at her warmest in the exact window after some invisible emotional withdrawal has already occurred, as if she is offering the cure for a condition she quietly created. Darius listens without moving a single muscle. He has spent 20 years reading hidden structure beneath visible surfaces. Finding the system underneath what everyone else calls coincidence. He hears one now. That evening he opens his laptop and books a flight to Zurich, visible, time-stamped, sent to his assistant. Then, before the confirmation loads, he opens a private browser and books a second flight. A charter. Departing the following morning at 5. Landing in Boston before anyone in this house opens their eyes. He does not tell a single person. Not even Claudette. He moves through the dark kitchen corridor without switching on a single light. The car dropped him 4 blocks from the estate. He walked the rest. Black coat. Phone on airplane mode. He enters through the service door on the east side, the one used by the weekend cleaning crew and early morning deliveries, and closes it behind him with barely a sound. He hears them before he reaches the hallway. Laughter. Small and real and bright. His daughters are happy. He stops 3 feet short of the dining room doorway. Through the gap in the door frame he takes it all in at once. Simone at the table in her blue and white uniform, leaning forward, cutting pizza into careful triangles. Zoe kicks her heels against the chair leg in the easy rhythm children find when they feel completely safe. Amara is reaching for a slice with both hands, grinning. The yellow flower clip in her hair catches the light from the fixture above the table. A stranger would see nothing wrong here. Darius sees everything wrong here. Because then Amara notices the pale blue scarf draped over the chair by the window, Imani's scarf, the one that has lived on that chair since the week she died because no one in this house has had the strength to move it. Amara reaches toward it, slowly, the way a child reaches for something she wants and knows is fragile. Her hand stops in midair. She turns and looks directly at Simone. "Am I allowed?" she asks. Simone smiles, warm, even, unhurried. "We don't hold on to things that make us sad, do we, baby?" Amara shakes her head. Pulls her hand back. Places it quietly in her lap. Darius's back teeth press together until his jaw aches. He could walk in right now. Every nerve in his body is screaming at him to. But the coldest and most practiced part of his mind, the part that built an empire by never moving before the full picture was visible, holds him exactly where he is. Because a woman this precise, this patient, and this careful in a house this private does not operate alone. And Darius Blackwell did not come back to Boston to make a scene. He came back to find out who sent her. 3 photographs are face down. Darius walks the length of the hallway slowly, finger touching each turned frame. Imani at the lake house, Imani in the delivery room, Imani in the yellow dress. 3 separate frames. 3 separate moments his wife lived. All of them now facing the wall like something shameful. He stands there and does the math. 7 weeks. That is how long it took to dismantle what took a lifetime to build. Not with hammers. Not with arguments. With patience. With warm hands and soft words and the precise, grinding pressure of repetition aimed directly at 2 children too young to protect their own memories. He moves back toward the hallway closet. Reaches to the top shelf and pulls down the cardboard box, the one holding the things he could not look at and could not throw away. Imani's song journal. The pages where she wrote down the words to every lullaby she ever planned to teach their girls. He opens it. The handwriting is hers. Rounded. Unhurried. The ink slightly faded. Zoe and Amara have not heard a single song from these pages in 7 weeks. He closes the journal. His hands are not shaking. He needs them steady for what comes next. Because the full picture is nearly complete now. He has the what. He has the how. What he does not yet have is the origin, the precise moment and the precise person who decided this house was a target. Darius opens his laptop at the kitchen counter. He does not call his attorney yet. He does not call anyone. He opens the household records himself, access logs, recommendation files, payroll authorizations, and begins pulling the thread he can already feel loose at the edge of everything. He expects the trail to lead somewhere professional. It leads somewhere he was not ready for. The name appears at 11:42 at night. Darius stares at it for a long time without blinking. He has cross-referenced 3 separate documents, Simone's placement referral, the recommendation chain routed through the household management agency, and a private calendar file his attorney pulled from a server that took 40 minutes and significant money to access legally. Every thread leads to the same person. Naomi Blackwell. His sister. 53 years old. Publicly polished. Privately relentless. The kind of woman who arrives at a family dinner having already decided every outcome and spends the entire evening steering conversation toward it while appearing to do nothing at all. Naomi never approved of Imani. She did not say it in those words. She did not have to. It lived in the pauses, the half-second delays before compliments, the carefully worded concerns about Darius being too emotionally available, too sentimental, too far from the controlled precision that made Blackwell Capital what it was. After Imani died, Naomi said the right things at the right moments. She showed up. She handled logistics. She made herself indispensable in the weeks when Darius could barely function. And somewhere inside that helpfulness, she began planting a different kind of structure. The referral chain shows Naomi contacted the agency 14 months ago. 2 years before Darius even began looking for a permanent nanny. She had already identified Simone. Already mapped the placement. Already positioned everything so that when the vacancy opened, and she knew a vacancy would open, because she had watched Darius travel himself hollow, Simone Carter would be the name at the top of the list. Naomi did not want the girls hurt. She wanted Imani's influence erased. Daughters who grew up emotionally detached from their mother's legacy would eventually be daughters whose loyalties could be shaped. Estate. Governance. Control. Darius closes the file and sits in total silence. And then he finds one more document he was not looking for. And the situation shifts entirely. The sealed welfare file costs him more than most people earn in a year to access through proper legal channels. He reads it in under 20 minutes. Simone Carter grew up in a home where grief was never a thing you moved through. It was a thing that got replaced, quickly, cleanly, before the child had time to understand what was gone. Her mother left when Simone was 6. The woman who took her place was warm the way a system is warm, functional, consistent, and conditional. Love, in the only house Simone ever knew, meant being needed. It meant making yourself irreplaceable before someone decided to leave. She learned it early and she learned it completely. So when Simone looks at Zoe and Amara, she is not seeing 2 children she is being paid to care for. She is seeing 2 small girls tethered to the memory of a woman who can never come back. And in Simone's understanding of the world, the only understanding she has ever had, that tether is not love. It is damage. Prolonged, unnecessary damage that she has the power to remove. She genuinely believes she is helping them. That is the part that sits in Darius's chest like cold metal. She is not performing affection. She is not running a scheme with clear eyes and a calculated heart. She loves his daughters the way a person loves something they have decided belongs to them, completely, possessively, and without room for anything that came before. Which means a confrontation in the dining room solves nothing. It confuses 2 girls who have spent 7 weeks being taught to feel safe with her. It creates a scene she can survive and he cannot control. Darius closes the file. Stands up from the desk. Rolls his sleeves down. He needs to remove her in a way that leaves no opening. No appeal. No opportunity for his daughters to watch their father lose his composure over a woman Naomi placed here like a chess piece. He picks up the phone. Not his personal cell. The other one. The envelope is on the hallway table by 7 in the morning. Sealed. Her name on the front. A legal representative standing 3 feet away, hands clasped, expression neutral. Darius is not in the entrance hall when Simone comes downstairs. That is deliberate. He is in the kitchen with Zoe and Amara, cutting fruit into the shapes Imani used to make, stars, half-moons, something he learned from the song journal and practiced twice the night before so his hands would not fumble. He hears the door of the entrance hall open and close. He does not look up from the cutting board. The envelope contains 3 things. A termination letter with an immediate effective date. A confidentiality agreement with teeth strong enough that no attorney would advise challenging it. And a professional reference, one she did not earn but will allow her to leave without a public record following her. Darius is not cruel. He is precise. There is a difference, and that difference matters to him even now. By 9 in the morning, Simone Carter is gone. 2 suitcases. The side gate. No audience. The legal documentation covering Naomi takes another 48 hours to execute completely. When it is done, she has been removed from every governance structure connected to the Blackwell estate. Every advisory role. Every informal authority she built over 14 months of patient positioning. She calls once. He lets it go to voicemail. She sends 3 messages. He reads all of them. He responds to none. Because Darius Blackwell did not survive 20 years of high-stakes negotiation by giving leverage to people who already showed him exactly who they are. Naomi expected a confrontation, something loud she could reframe, defend, and recover from. He gave her silence. And silence, in his world, is the most final answer there is. He places Imani's framed photograph back on the hallway shelf that same afternoon. Face forward. Where it belongs. The song journal opens to page 7. Darius sits on the edge of Amara's bed with both girls pressed against him, one on each side, the way they used to sit with Imani before sleep, and reads the words slowly. His voice is not perfect. He misses the melody twice. Zoe corrects him on the third line and he lets her, and she laughs at catching her father wrong, and that laugh is the best sound this house has made in 3 years. He does not explain what happened to Simone. They are 4 years old. That story belongs to a version of them that is older and steadier and ready for it. What he gives them tonight is simpler and more important. He gives them their mother back, not as a wound, not as a warning, but as a presence. A voice in a journal. A melody that belonged to her first. He puts Imani's photo album on the shelf beside their beds where they can reach it without asking. He adjusts his travel calendar the following week. His assistant sends 3 reschedules. 2 partners express concern. Darius reads the emails and does not change his mind. Because the vacancy that made all of this possible was not Simone's creation and was not Naomi's plan. It was his. Built one early morning flight at a time. One delegated breakfast at a time. One room left empty because staying in it cost something he was not yet ready to pay. He pays it now. Claudette finds him at the kitchen table the next morning before sunrise, fruit cut into stars and half moons, 2 small plates set, 2 cups of juice poured, and she says nothing. She simply nods once and walks back to her station, and that nod carries the weight of 9 years and everything she chose not to say until the right moment. Naomi never gets a reply. Simone never gets a second chance. And Darius Blackwell learns, too late for some things, but not too late for the ones that matter most, that money can build a house so clean and so perfect that grief has nowhere to land. But it cannot replace the sound of a father's voice getting the melody wrong on purpose just to hear his daughter laugh. Some men win by crushing what threatens them. Darius wins by finally coming home. If this story moved something in you, if it reminded you of what gets lost when we mistake distance for discipline, or busyness for love, drop that thought in the comments right now. This community was built exactly for moments like this one. And if you are watching someone in your life carry a vacancy they are too proud to name, share this story with them today. Because sometimes the right story at the right moment is the only door that opens. Subscribe to King's Vault right now and turn on your notifications, because every single week, this channel brings you another story about resilience, quiet power, and the human moments that remind us what we are truly made of. You do not want to miss what is coming next.